Kia ora, and today we are looking at the Sennelier watercolours. I'm Elvie, and welcome to the channel. So I bought the tester pack, as you can see here, on Jackson's. Very reliable shop for a reasonable price. Um, they've got lots of different varieties of these test packs. They have them, I believe, for their soft pastels, oil paints, and yeah, their products that they sell. I bought the watercolor one because it's very on theme, but I wanted to try some more of their paints. I have done a review on their paints before. I have tried. They have like a little mini set you can get on Jackson's as well. That one comes with 8 colours all in half pans, and it's like a little travel set with a little brush as well. And then I have tried a couple of their tube paints before. Our local shop sells Sennelier, so I've tried 2 tube paints by them, I believe, and maybe 1 or 2 half pans, but I wanted to try the set. It was 40 New Zealand dollars, which I feel is a good price because 40 divided by 5 is 8. So $8 per tube. They're 10 milliliter tubes, which is really a lot of paint. So that's something to keep in mind. So this is just like the cover with information. I think it's got the colour names on the side here. It's got Sennelier on the box. I believe this will be the same for all of the tester sets. The container here. Oh, she's stubborn. There we go. Oh, there's a little pamphlet. Interesting. Very premium packaging, gotta appreciate it. And so you get this little brochure. I guess it will tell you a bit about their products and stuff if you're interested. Very fun. I'll have a look at that in my own time. The main thing about these paints that you may or may not know already is that they are honey based. Hence the little bee up here. It's actually one of the biggest points about these paints. So if you're vegan, probably not your paint. I have to be honest here. And they're also known for their glazing abilities and stuff. I don't have any half pans down with me, so I've got this plate where I'm going to pour them out and swatch them with you guys. This is once again a first impression video, as I stated in the Holbein gouache video. I'm going to refrain from saying review because it'll be my first impression of the set. And as I use it, I can use it dry if it dries, which I don't feel like it will dry fully. But I'll be able to tell you guys a bit more about them later down the track as well. So this is what the tubes look like. They've got the colour name there. This one's lemon yellow. It's got your number, series, and then on the back here it's got your pigment and transparency information, as well as light fastness. So that's very fun. I'm going to struggle with this, so I'm going to pour these on here off camera and we can swatch them together. Okay, I've poured them all out on the plate. It took me plenty of time. One thing I would like to note is that this does come out if you want it to, and just have the tin, which you could then, if you do like the paint or whatever product you end up buying, you can fill it up with more by that brand or keep other things in it. It's a very useful thing to have. I think that was all I had to know about here. I'll run through the colour names before I swatch them out. We've got lemon yellow, we've got bright red, ultramarine deep, and then we also have Chinese orange and Payne's grey. So we've got quite the variety here. I have also already drawn and not swatched. I'm going to swatch with you guys, but I've drawn a sketch to paint and also the information about the paints down here. I'd like to say this is straight from the tube, so it might vary depending if you let them sit and dry and stuff. So with that in mind, let's talk about the pigments. Some of the information I'm not sure what it means. I'm still trying to get my head around that. If any of you guys know, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to be more informed. But we've got PY yellow. I'll just swatch this out while I do it actually. I've got my little glass thing up here. But we've got PY3 for the lemon yellow. Here we go. Very transparent as expected. This is on 100% cotton paper, so should be good. The paper will not be the problem. And then we've got bright red. This one said N.R, and that's where I'm not sure what that one means. I'm wondering if that means the pigments aren't available, or I'm not sure. So that's questionable. And I do know for the light fast rating, it also had NR, and I know that means it is not good light fastness, like it will fade. So don't, when you use the red, just be wary with putting in direct sunlight. Ultramarine Deep is PB29. Transparency, they're all pretty transparent. The red and the black are a little bit more opaque, but that's to be expected. This one, Chinese Orange, 3 pigments, which is a lot. It's a nice colour, but it is a lot of pigments. It is PY150. We've got PR209, and we've got PBR29. So that's a lot. A lot of information right there. So, and same with the Payne's Grey. It's 3 pigments as well, which is, again, a lot of pigments. Very nice colour though. But it is PV19, PB15:1, and then PBK7. I did put in 2 B's there, but that's just, spelling is not my forte. So those are the colours swatched out. They're still wet, so we'll see how they dry. And I'll get onto just painting. I'm using the porcelain plate. I said this in the Holbein video, but porcelain plates are just so good to mix on because that's the best things to clean. Like, you just wipe them away with like a paper towel or something and you're good to go. Especially if you don't want to invest in a palette yet, you just want to get the paints, you just want to get started, and you don't want to spend your money on a palette. Definitely the way to go. I'm using quite a bit of water, so getting this layer down. But yeah, the paper is just my standard Winsor & Newton Cotman paper. It's very reliable when it comes to watercolours. It's amazing, and Watercolour loves the paper, so it's quite handy. So far, nothing crazy, just a very standard watercolour. I have used Sennelier, so I kind of know what I'm getting myself into. I'll move that up for you guys. But I haven't used every colour that they've got. I did look at that set. It's like $1,000 though, New Zealand, so I will no longer be looking at that set. And the tester set was very well priced for it, especially, as I say this in most videos, but New Zealand, it can be very hard to find affordable professional line watercolours, and that's just the way it is, just because of geographical location. A little harder to get products overseas, apparently, in the middle of the ocean. But work with what we've got, and now that I've figured out how to buy paints online, I'm pretty sussed. Also with a plate, it doesn't pull up, so like you can kind of see the color I'm using. I think there might be a little bit of oil, so it'll pull up a little bit on it. But yeah, it's a really good surface to use and mix your colors on. And it's white, so you can see the color you're mixing, which is very, very handy when using a transparent medium. But no, I mean, they're mixing really nicely together. I would expect that from a tester set where it's like wanting you to try a good range of colors. I would love to do like a little comparison one day in the distant future of some of the tester sets and what one actually has the nicest or the best range of colors and is the best bang for your buck. Because so far my favorite has been the Roman Schmall, but Roman Schmall comes in the full pans, which isn't always the most accessible, and it doesn't come with a mixing area. Neither does this, but it's always something to keep in mind. Very orange. I don't actually want orange. I say mixing all the colours to get orange together. Kind of wanted this colour. There we go. The picture I'm drawing is my first ever attempt at arranging flowers. My brother, he used to be a florist, or like work at a florist place, and he, during lockdown, he brought home lots of the flowers that were going to go to waste, and so put them to good use and practice arranging flowers, and it was actually so fun. And this was my attempt. I think it helps that flowers are just naturally pretty, so it's hard to make them look bad. I actually used some parsley leaf and stuff in it, which was quite entertaining. Back to the colours, they are beautiful. Again, straight from the tube, so you'd hope that'd be nice. They're not like a shock to the system bright, but yeah, one of the important things to remember with Sennelier is that they are, you layer them. Like the beauty with them is how well they layer and just glow with radiancy once you add a few layers up to them and build them up over a little bit of time. So they're much more, you kind of work with them in layers, and as I said, how many times do I need to say layers? But yeah, it's a slow process. You build them up, and it is very therapeutic just to let them dry, build them up and stuff. But I'm going to pause it here for you guys, and then next time you'll see it, I'll do a bit more painting. Might do a second layer over these colours down here, see just how well they do layer, and I'll be right back with you. Just while I'm at it, I'd like to show you just what it looks like when you kind of don't layer it up. That's the first coat there, kind of ready, dry and ready to be layered. I have done a little swatch down here, very transparent, beautiful colours, as you'd hope for. And I also forgot that I didn't explain why it isn't as preferred to use multi-pigmented colours, like pigments with heaps of pigments. Oh, colours with heaps of pigments. What am I on about? And the reason for that is just because if there's like the PV19 in here, for example, it's the mixes you make is a bit more unexpected. So once again, it stopped me halfway through filming, but that's okay. Basically what I was talking about with the multi-pigments is that it dirties up your mixes, which is not great. And then I guess while I'm here, I'm going to just do the final kind of points, as well as some other extra things. I used this pen here. It is just by Jackson's. It is just a 0.3 pigment liner. It's great. I love the set. I got 3 different sizes, and it was very affordable. And then I've been using the Princeton Snap brush in the size 9. Very reliable and very good. Personally, I use it for gouache and watercolour, and I think I've even used it for acrylic paint. but I try to keep my brushes separate for that. I guess I'll give you guys a little bit of a closer view. I did some mixes down the side here of the green, purple, and orange, and then a grey. And then you can kind of see the layering going on. I use the ultramarine for the back here, and you can see it is barely granulating, which is great if you don't like granulation or you don't want to quite try it out yet and you just want to get used to watercolour before you try textured watercolour, you know. So yeah, it's muddied up a little bit just because I did use a bit of the Payne's grey and stuff. But the good thing with transparent watercolour is that you can see the line work coming through in the like in the watercolour painting. So it's really good for illustrations. The range of colours Sennelier offers is a lot of reds and yellows and oranges and purples and violets. So if this is a very common thing that people bring up, but if you are interested in floral painting, this is a really good brand for you just because of the selection of colours you get here. I have had problems with their brown, the ultramarine, the burnt umber in the travel set. It was terrible to use, and this orange is it's interesting. Definitely not my favourite orange by any means. So if you use if you use a lot of browns in your works, maybe not the best brand for you. And I guess I'll look at some other things. I wrote down a list of points I wanted to make sure I mentioned. But it does take a lot of time to layer up the colours. So if you want fast results, I'm guilty to that. It does take time to layer up the paints, but I feel like it adds to the process a lot. It makes you think and be very intentional with the layers you put down first, and then it gets you used to the transparent medium of watercolour, especially if you're not used to it. So overall, I really think it's a good test set, especially for where I am in the world. It is affordable, and yeah, one of the more affordable professional options out there. Good selection of colours. Of course, you don't get the full 6 kind of varieties of primary colours, but you can make it work. Like, it's a really good set. The only thing I did want to mention is that if you travel around a lot, like me, you will have problems with the paint drying. I've had this issue before with, I think it was the cerulean colour, beautiful colour, but I couldn't travel with it because if it sits too long on the side, it just floods out of your pan. So you'd want these in like a studio set, or if you're in a very dry environment, it might set for you, your paints, but up to you to test that out. So these will not be going in my travel set, which is my most used set. So these wouldn't get as used as my other paints, such as my Da Vinci's, or Winsor & Newton, or Daniel Smith, or Schminker. Like, these are going to get used, but not as much, just because of that factor. And that is largely dependent on what you paint and how you go about your work and stuff. I think that was one last point. It doesn't come with a mixing area like a lot of tube sets, tester sets. So if a mixing area is important or you don't have one, I would definitely recommend just having a white porcelain plate, or just, even if you don't own one, just getting like one from the op shop or something is a good way to go about that. But it is just something to be aware of when getting the set, or if you do want to get this set. I'll leave a link to where I got it in the description below, as well as a video I did on the other travel set. This is a long time ago, like 3 years ago or whatever, if you're interested as well. Between the two sets, this one and the travel one, for my own uses, the travel one was much more practical, but I do prefer this one, I think, just because you get a lot of more paint for your money. They're the same price, but these are much nicer, especially if you are not traveling around a lot. The other one was nice, but the plastic insert was okay. That was interesting, but that's enough of me ranting. I've made all my points. So I hope this video is interesting. You learned a little bit. Maybe you like the paint and you want to go out and get it yourself, or maybe you've been put off. But I hope it was useful nonetheless. It was very fun to make, and this is another little close-up look of it. But thank you guys, and have an amazing rest of your day. Thank you for watching.